What's going on, everyone? Back at it again. Take 3 podcast. We're here now in the divisional round. It is Thursday, so we're getting closer, right? Saturday, divisional round kicks off. Chiefs, Jags, Eagles, Giants, and then we get into obviously what's happening on Sunday. The playoffs are going, right? We have some surprise. Obviously, if you watched last week, I mean, we already recapped it, but if you saw the Chargers game, right? Chargers, Jags at halftime, you probably didn't think the Jags would be sitting there, right? And nobody did. We both already rehashed, but we're here divisional round, man. Some good matchups, some interesting matchups, right? We get to see the Bills, Bengals. We were kind of unfortunately robbed of that in the regular season, so we get to see them run it in Buffalo. Chiefs, Jags, I mean, we kind of know the outcome, but Trevor Lawrence, star quarterback in the making. Doug Peterson, good team. Can they keep it close? Spreads like 8.5. Then obviously our Eagles played the Giants. Favorable matchup for us on paper, at least. I mean, I think I'm pretty confident going into it. And then the good one probably honestly could turn in to maybe game of the week, Cowboys 49ers wrapping up the divisional round. So just looking at the schedule, man, what do you think of the divisional round on the fray before we get into the games?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty good divisional weekend. I'm super excited for it. I think Bengals Bills is going to be a phenomenal game. I think Cowboys Niners is going to be phenomenal. And for the other two, I think they'll be competitive, damn good. You never know. Maybe an upset happens. I really hope it doesn't. But I think they'll stay competitive. The spreads are kind of tricky, which is why we're not even picking them. We're just going to pick winners. But yeah, it's kind of hard to decipher spread wise. But I feel good about the favorites in general.
Yep. So let's get into the first one. Obviously, first matchup on the docket. It starts off, kicks off divisional round weekend. You get the Jags heading into Kansas City. Kansas City once again, I should say, they played earlier this year. The Kansas City Chiefs won 27-17 at Arrowhead. Some mistakes by the Jags. They're a young football team. Mistakes are expected. We watched last week. They made 4 mistakes, 4 interceptions. It was sloppy. Actually, 5 if you consider they lost the turnover control with the muffed punt. But the Kansas City Chiefs 8.5-point favorites. I'm glad we're not picking spreads, honestly, because if I'm just looking at the spread, I may even be enticed to roll Jags 8.5, right? Because I think Trevor Lawrence and the Jags, they're good enough to score a garbage time touchdown, right? To like make it closer than you would think. But I mean, we know what we're expecting here, man. Do you think, is there any shot Doug Peterson can scheme something up, maybe get after Patrick Mahomes, get him off of his element? He's the best quarterback in football right now, MVP of the league most likely, obviously since Jalen Hurts got hurt. But do you think Doug Peterson can scheme up anything? Trevor Lawrence plays a completely clean game and the Jags surprise us all and somehow steal the game in Arrowhead, although it's super unlikely, I would say.
Yeah, it's a tall task. It's going to be tough because, like, if Doug schemes up something really well and Trevor plays a clean game, that still might not be enough to beat Kansas City. And Kansas City, like, they're 8.5-point favorites for a reason. I expect Trevor to play good. I think Doug is going to do a good job scheming against his defense, and like, he's familiar with Kansas City, he's familiar with Andy Reid, but ultimately I don't think it's going to matter. I think these are a matchup between two teams, or the discrepancy between the teams is just going to be too large to overcome. I think the Jags are going to play really well and maybe keep it close, but eventually we're going to see the Chiefs pull away just simply because they're the much better football team here. A la kind of like the wild card weekend of the Seahawks and Niners. The Seahawks played in a phenomenal first half and just could not keep it up. They couldn't. This Niners are just way more talented than they were, and they just kind of pulled away. And I don't expect. I expect a similar result here, but not as bad. Like, the Jags are a much better team than the Seahawks. I do expect the Chiefs just to simply pull away. You're talking about Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce. He's going to spread the ball around. It's going to be a lethal offensive attack. And even if Doug schemes up something really well, which honestly I think he's going to, at least for the first scripted drives of each half, and Trevor plays clean football, I still don't think that might not be enough to beat the Chiefs. They have a chance simply because it's a divisional round. We're talking about pro athletes, but everything points towards Kansas City. It's really hard to see them losing here coming off a bye.
Yeah, I love that you brought up that Seahawks Niners game from last week, because I agree. It totally feels like that. It feels like the Jags, they could stick around for a little bit, right? Make it fun off the rip. But I expect the Chiefs to solely by the second half of this game, if not even the second quarter of this game, take it over. The crowd's going to be in their favor. I just don't think the Jags are going to have a matchup to stop Travis Kelce. Jerick McKinnon out of the backfield has been dangerous, and I just think Pat Mahomes is too good. He's too smart, and I don't think he's going to turn the football over. And in the Jags' favor, I mean, they would have to get off to a picture perfect start. 9 of their last 10, they've trailed. If you go into Arrowhead and you're trailing off the rip, it's probably a wash, right? You're not going to catch up. They're not going to do the shit that Brandon Staley does, that Justin Herbert did
Yep.
last week. It's just not going to happen. This is a clean football team. They're 14-3 in the 1 seed for a reason. They're 7-1 at home. They play clean football. They're smart. Andy Reid's good. And I expect, yeah, as I said, I would maybe be enticed to jump on maybe Jags 8.5. I don't even know if I'd be confident enough to do that, but I do think the Jags are good enough to score one of those garbage time touchdowns. But yeah, I'm all in on the Chiefs. They're just all around the better football team, and I think the Jags are still like a year away, right? They have to. I would like them to add another receiver in the offseason, maybe shore up that O line a little bit, go out and get another corner. They have some things to do, but they haven't hit their peak, right? They're a year ahead of I think really where we thought they'd be, and they're in a good spot, right? This is a good barometer to see where they are head into the offseason. But I do think the Chiefs take care of business coming off the bye week at home, and they'll be ready for the Bills Bengals winner.
And the thing is, this is such an uphill battle. Let's say they get off to like a hot start and they take a 10-0 lead or a 14-0 lead. Like, I would still feel great about Kansas City because we've seen Mahomes come back from those deficits all the damn time, honestly, since he's been in the league. It's pretty remarkable. His winning percentage is like 60% when he goes down by 2 touchdowns. It's absolutely remarkable. I don't think any other quarterback even has a above 500 winning percentage when it comes to those stats. And the fact that Mahomes is like at 60%, it's just because, it gets into a situation where now you got to kind of get away from the run game and rely on Mahomes even more. So it's like every scenario in which this game goes, it's really tough to see the Jags win.
Yep. Yeah, I completely agree. But it's been a good. If this is it for the Jags, I would say they had a successful season. Doug Peterson's
Oh
already
yeah.
said it himself. It has been a very, very successful year to turn around that team from a 3-13 year last year, and obviously having the number 1 pick in back-to-back years. It's been a remarkable turnaround. They'll have money, right? They'll be able to add to that roster going into the next year with Trevor Lawrence still being on that rookie deal, and if he can hit another level, that team could be a very special squad to add into that mix with the Bills, the Bengals, and this Chiefs team. So it'll be fun to see on a Saturday how they match up and how they come out. Hopefully they at least come out and make it a ball game, right? I just want to see a good ball game. I don't want to see a complete ass whooping like a 27-0, because the Chiefs, as I said, they will just run away with it. If it's 27-0, like it's a wash. If it gets to that point, we can shut the screens off. Like the Chargers fan, I saw a video, he took a nap when it was 27-0,
I saw
woke up
that.
in the fourth quarter. Like if you're a Chiefs fan, you can take that nap and rest easy because it's not good. The same thing is not going to happen.
There's just no chance. And Andy Reid has been in these situations too much. He'll get Pacheco going, and there's just no way. I just it's such a long shot for the Jags.
Yeah, that too. It's student playing the teacher. I mean, Doug knows, right? Andy knows. I mean, Doug learned under Andy, right? So Andy already he pretty much. I mean, I'm not going to say exactly knows, but I mean he mentored Doug Peterson in Kansas City, so he can know what to expect coming out there on Saturday. Let's move in to the nightcap. Big one for us. We're off the bye week. We're playing the Giants. Honestly, I mean, last week we both rolled Vikings, so it wasn't a matchup that I saw, but I always knew it was on potential. The third match of the season. Jalen Hurts, full practice all week. That's good. He's not on the injury report. Lane Johnson, full practice. The groin thing's a little weird. I don't know how he'll be able to move around. He seemed to be moving in practice in the videos I saw, but he's off. He was a full participant. So, I mean, the only guy we're missing right now is Avonte Maddox. 7.5-point favorites. I don't know if I like that spread wise. That's another one where I was like, I don't know if I dive all in just because I don't know where Jalen Hurts is. Is he 100%? Who knows? He's off the injury report, but I mean, I would speculate somewhere 90, 95. But I think we'll see the full thing. Yeah. What do you go with? It's kind of tough. I don't want to like jump in because I mean, I'm not rolling the Giants. It's the
Right.
Eagles. It's just on here because it's one of the final 4 matchups, so we obviously got to cover it. But the Eagles take care of business, right? I don't see any world where Daniel Jones and Brian Dable find a way to sneak this out. I mean, when you look at Daniel Jones, his 2 biggest games of the year were against the Vikings. Abysmal defense, right? So you head into
Mhm.
Philadelphia, crowd's going to be going crazy. The defense in the front's going to get after you. He's going to have a second and a half less to make these passes. The runs, I doubt the runs are going to be there like he was running all over the Vikings. So Eagles, I would say take care of business. You think they covered the spread though?
Yeah, the spread is tough. That 0.5 right there on the 7.5, that's a Vegas number. Same with the 8.5 with the Chiefs game. When it comes to those 2 spreads, I'm not comfortable taking them, but like if you want a Saturday teaser, I would tease those 2 teams 6 points. You should be in the clear. They'd only have to win by a field goal each. I love that play. But I mean, on paper, this is a matchup where the Eagles should cover the spread. They should win by 10 to 14 points. But the reality is it's a divisional game in the divisional round. It's going to be close. It's going to be competitive. But I think you kind of laid it out right. The Vikings defense was atrocious. They literally could not stop the Giants offense, which I mean, credit the New York Giants, but they haven't exactly been stellar the second half of the season. So it kind of speaks to how atrocious that Vikings team, and they were overvalued because they got a lot of one score victories this year. The only thing that really worries me is like Lane Johnson. Obviously, he had full practices all week, but I'm scared about his mobility still. The rookie for the New York Giants, Thibodeau, I believe, he's gonna be lining up against Lane. He's had a pretty damn good year. He's been balling, so that's my only real concern. But Lane Johnson is such a freak athlete. If he goes out there and performs well, it wouldn't surprise me at all. But that's my only real concern. Jalen should be, at least 90%, getting real healthy. The Giants are kind of hanging their hats on the fact that it was a close competitive game in week 18. They didn't play their starters, but like Jalen, that was like a shake off the rust game for the Eagles offense. And I just expect this team to be ready to go, the link to be rocking. And it's a real uphill battle for the Giants, just like the Jags. They've had a phenomenal year. Great turnaround from the previous year. But like, I think I'd be pretty surprised if the Eagles blow this. I don't see a scenario where the Giants just snatch it from us. I think if the Giants win, it's because Jalen turns the ball over and we like hurt ourselves.
Yep, I really think that is truly the only way we lose. Yeah, Lane Johnson's the big one. Honestly, a 90% Jalen Hurts, I think we can live with. But Lane Johnson being out there, I mean, the stats are already out there. The record with and without Lane Johnson, it's not even close. The O line's different. You're able to control the line of scrimmage, control the clock, and hold the ball and get the run game going. Right, that's a big thing. But yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see what the offense. I don't think it's going to be that Week 18 vanilla script that the Giants fans are kind of jumping up and down happy about. Right, it was very basic offense out of the Eagles in Week 18. They kind of didn't want to show anything, and they didn't want to risk Jalen Hurts. They knew they could run this vanilla offense and still win the game against Davis Webb and company. I think the crowd's going. Yeah, I mean, the spread I'd stay away from. I think 24-17, somewhere in that range, right? That's
Yeah.
exactly on 7, right? You still lose by a half point. So I mean, if I was a betting man, you probably take Giants 7.5. Although I'm an Eagles fan, won't even be betting the game, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, I just think it's gonna be too much to overcome. The crowd's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be an insane atmosphere on Saturday night. And Daniel Jones is gonna I think he's gonna come down to earth, right? It's not the Vikings. You look at guys, everybody has a career day against the Vikings, it seems. The defense is horrible. So I mean, as long as we don't go out there and absolutely kill ourselves, shoot ourselves in the foot with fumbles like the Washington game, interceptions like the Washington game, the Eagles take care of business. They'll be hosting an NFC championship game next Sunday. It's standard business. It's just I mean, the third time matchup thing, I guess people look into it. I'm not really sweating it. I think just go out there and play football, and this team has all the tools and they're the better roster, right?
Yeah, give the New York Giants another season or two, and then I think in this exact scenario, I'd be real nervous. But like, it's just like the Jags are kind of putting it all together. It feels like the Giants have like reached their like peak for their season, like their ceiling. Like if you told us they were in the divisional round at the start of the year, like everyone except New York Giants fans would have laughed at you. They would have said no way. Like now all of a sudden they're playing really well. I think they had a phenomenal year, and it's gonna be great, something to really build on. And next year I think it would be a little bit different conversation, be a little bit more worried. But like I think this team is overachieved. I think this is their limit right here.
Yeah, I would say so for sure. I mean, I just look at it, even if you look at last week in a career day, teams that trust their quarterbacks in big games don't have them run 17 times, right? So it's like that's kind of where we're at. The Giants are still as good as he was against the Vikings defense. They're still limited with Daniel Jones. He's not going to, Brian Dable's not going to have faith into letting him sling the rock, right? He's not going to sling it to beat you. So yeah, it should be fun. I'm excited. Obviously, playoff football in Philly is always fun, and it's a big one for us personally. Let's move on. Sunday afternoon, the early game. This could be, I mean, I'd say one of these two games on the Sunday window are probably going to be game of the week for sure. But we get Bengals at the Bills, Buffalo 5.5-point favorites. Obviously, we didn't get the full matchup in the regular season. We kind of the unfortunate thing with DeMar Hamlin. Luckily, he is okay, full recovery that he made, which is great. But we were robbed of that matchup, so we really don't know what it was. Right? It was a quick Bengals go straight down the field. They throw a quick touchdown pass, and then it all ended after that. So we're left with a blank spot. And then you fast forward to I would say last week, right? You watch how the Dolphins gave a dogfight with Josh Allen in Buffalo, right? That one kind of leaked 18-45. Skylar Thompson keeps it close. A lot of mistakes out of Josh Allen. They didn't look great. And then you fast forward to when the Bengals played the Ravens on Sunday night. They didn't look great. And the O-line literally they're dropping like flies. So their O-line's not good. You watch, they literally went on a guy that jumps over the pile, fumbles, and they return it 98 yards with Sam Hubbard, and not another point was scored. So it's like if they get that QB sneak, what does the game look like? Does Joe Burrow lead them down with that O-line to score? So we don't know. What do you make it? Bills, Bengals. It should be a good one in Buffalo. Who do you give the edge to? Is it the turnover machine in Buffalo, or is it the bad O line in Cincinnati?
Yeah, this is a really tough one. I'm super excited for this game. We finally get to see Joe Burrow versus Josh Allen, a full game. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a phenomenal football game. I think 5.5 points is probably too much. I feel like this will be a field goal game or a 4 point game. So I do like the Bengals spread wise. And I chose the Bengals in the preseason to go 13-4, lose in the conference championship against the Chiefs. And I'm going to stick with my pick because now I'm 1 weekend away from getting that matchup again. And like, don't get me wrong, the Bills are a hell of a team. They're going to be in Buffalo, and I am legitimately very concerned about the Bengals' offensive line. It makes me extremely nervous. If the offensive line wasn't beat up, I'd feel really good about Cincinnati. The only thing that's like my saving grace is that like the offensive line was not good last year, and Joe Burrow got it done somehow. So I'm really just kind of, to me, like I think the Bengals defense will play really well as well. But like when you're facing Josh Allen, he's probably going to do what he does. So to me, it's like I'm putting it on Joe Burrow because I feel like Joe Burrow is less prone to make mistakes. He's shown last year in that playoff run and multiple times throughout this year that he's very clutch, right? I feel good with the ball in his hands in the final stretch. And not to discredit Josh Allen, he's right there. So like here I am going back and forth because I think it's gonna be a very, very close game. I think this is the game where the Bills really miss Von Miller's presence. I think this is the exact game that Von Miller would have highlighted why he chose Buffalo. He called himself the Super Bowl whisperer. Maybe that would have been true because like if this offensive line's real beat up, I think Von Miller would have had a massive impact on this game. I think they're going to miss him, and I'm going to ride with Joe Burrow because like he's cool under pressure, and I'm really nervous about Josh Allen and those turnovers, but I'm equally nervous about the Bengals offensive line. So as I keep going back and forth, I'm going to stick with my gut and ride with the Cincinnati Bengals to get a clutch win by like a field goal.
Yeah, and I'm going the other way. I'm taking the Buffalo Bills. I'm taking Josh Allen. I'm taking the team that's playing for the bigger cause. They're playing to win for Damar Hamlin, their boy, who's been in the facility all week with the guys in the film rooms, with them. But I'm going with one thing. It's easier to cure the turnovers than it is to cure the 3 down-0 linemen and playing with a backup left tackle in Buffalo. Will they miss Von Miller? Yeah, they will. But I think Gregory Rousseau, Ed Oliver's still on that front. They still have a good front to be able to attack that O line. And I mean, it's two teams that don't really like to run the ball, right? When you look at Joe Mixon, only 800 yards on the year. Devin Singletary only has 819. They like to air the ball out. And Josh Allen, a little bit more mobile. Is he turnover prone? Yeah. But I just don't think, I think this is going to be the one week where you really see that the Bengals miss the O line. I don't expect it to be a blowout. I still expect great football, but I think he's going to miss the O lineman, and they're for once not going to get like some crazy like thing that goes their way. They've had a lot of stuff that kind of flips their way in some of these games, but I think the turnover machine is gonna calm down. I think Stephon Diggs is gonna have a day, right? Who's covering him? Eli Apple's out there. I think they're really gonna miss Chibade Awuzie, who's out for the year, right? So I think that just the injuries are gonna catch up. The lack of inability to stop Stephon Diggs. Gabe Davis is still out there. Cole Beasley randomly made an appearance, making some catches last week, some big ones. They still have Dawson Knox, and I think Josh Allen. I just think it's easier to cure the turnovers. Will he probably still do something stupid? Yeah, maybe one time, but probably not. It's probably not going to be 2 picks and a fumble, and one of the fumbles result in a touchdown. And I think Josh Allen playing for Damar Hamlin, they get the job done at home, and they will face the Chiefs. It's kind of annoying that you got two cold weather teams that are going to be playing in Atlanta and inside of a
In a
dome. Like
dome.
that's corny as hell. I like outdoor teams playing outdoor football, especially cold weather teams. Like I just think it's super corny. I mean, if you really like offense, it's perfect, right? You get Mahomes and Allen in a dome, perfect weather. Like it's fun. If you get any of these matchups, Joe Burrow against Mahomes or it wouldn't be perfect weather. Never mind. They would have to go there. My bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm taking the Bills. I think they get it done, and then they get to set up another matchup with the Chiefs, and then it comes down to can Josh Allen beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs for me at least.
Well, the fun part of this scenario is as long as the Chiefs take care of business, we're going to get an incredible AFC championship game, no matter who wins this game. But the one negative I will say about the Bengals, which you brought up, is like they're riding hot when it comes to like turnovers and the ball bouncing their way, like without a doubt. And like there's got to be some regression to the mean coming. And like obviously you can't account for that, and it is randomness, but like you never feel good when it's been going your way like the entire time. Something's got to give, especially you did make a good point. Like they're going to be very emotional in that stadium from the Damar Hamlin thing. So like there are a few things that go against the Bengals, but I got to stick with my gut, my preseason decision, as I'm 1 weekend away from it happening. So let's go Cincinnati.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked either way, if I'm being honest. Like it would not it wouldn't surprise me. Whoever won, I mean, as you already summed it up, we'd be in for a great matchup in the AFC title game, regardless of which teams win this matchup. And I expect fireworks on Sunday. Let's move into the late cap on Sunday. If it lets me flip over. Yeah, the Cowboys, surprisingly, we both picked against them last week. They played a hell of a game. Tom Brady looked washed. That Bucks team looked washed. Obviously, the news came today. They basically sweeped house the coordinators in Tampa Bay, but they get through the wild card weekend. Mike McCarthy saves his job for another week, possibly another season, right? I think he's I would say safe, at least making it this far. They go on the road to play San Fran, a team that has 2 days of preparation advantage. You already heard before the Cowboys played the Monday night game, they were pissed off that the 49ers played the first game of the wild card weekend. So they've been chilling since like 4 o'clock West Coast time last Saturday. They get the advantage. So that I think helps them. They're obviously a physical team. Brock Purdy's done his thing. Kyle Shanahan knows what to do. The Dallas Cowboys go on the road. What do you think, man? Do you think the Cowboys run keeps it going? Do you think they sneak themselves into an NFC title game? I'm looking at ESPN right now. They say the Cowboys 53.2% chance to win. The Niners 46.8. I don't know who's smoking crack. The spread's 4. What do you make? Does Mike McCarthy go on the road, short week against a more physical football team, and get the job done?
Yeah, this game is going to be really telling. It's really hard to get a measuring stick for this Niners team since they've been like kicking everybody's ass with the exception of one Vegas overtime game. So like I want to see if Dallas goes in there and gives it to him, and at the very least keeps it very, very close. This Niners team is scary. Like, yeah, Brock Purdy's a rookie and he could make some mistakes, but he's been playing extremely well. They have the number 1 defense in the league. They're hitting on all cylinders offensively. You got freaking Christian McCaffrey, Debo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle, and then the backup running backs are damn good as well with like Elijah Mitchell. So it's like you have this phenomenal offensive line, this great offensive scheme, and Kyle Shanahan is just like they're rolling, and I think they're going to continue to roll. I'm a Cowboys hater, but like it really is unfair what the league did with this scheduling. I'm not a fan of these Monday night wild card games. This is only the second year, and yes, you could point to the first year being the Rams that won, and then they won the Super Bowl, but they didn't travel, right? They hosted Tampa Bay the following week. You have the Niners playing Saturday. Dallas played Monday. They have to travel back, and then they have to go to the West Coast, and then they're playing Sunday night. Like that's a really quick turnaround, and like it's just a lot of disadvantages for a Cowboys team that I think is not as good of a football team as the Niners. I don't trust their coaching staff like I trust the Niners coaching staff. The Cowboys are known for making dumb decisions and big mistakes and when it matters most, which would be the divisional round in the playoffs right now. And like all things point towards the Niners. I'm riding with the Niners. I think they get it done. I think they win by a full possession, like a full touchdown. I just think they're a better football team in multiple facets than the Dallas Cowboys are. And I do think it's a legitimate disadvantage the rest. Like I do think the league is putting Dallas at a legitimate disadvantage, and it's not really fair, honestly. And I'm happy to see that the Cowboys are the receiving team of it because I'm a hater. But like it truly was, I was not a fan that the league did that, and I think it's going to be Niners for sure. It's to me like let's see what Dak does against his defense. Honestly, at this point, I expect him to turn the ball over once, maybe twice. The one interesting point to me is that Vegas has it at -4 and not 3.5 or 3. That's an interesting number. That's kind of a catch number as well.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, I hated the super wild card thing, the Monday night wild card thing when they brought it in last year. I thought it's stupid, especially to have teams trot out right on short notice. But yeah, everything's trending Niners. They got the better roster on paper, maybe not by a huge margin, but I mean, when you look at the guys out wide, you already covered the names. They damn near have a Pro Bowler at every single position out there, and then the front four, right, and Fred Warner and those guys. I think it comes down to literally, can the Cowboys O line play as good as they did last week? They seemingly kept Dak clean all week. The Bucks couldn't get after him, right? The Bucks secondary was weak. They had a little bit on the pass rush. That was kind of the thing that they hung their hats on, getting after the quarterback, Todd Bowles, and the defense blitzing. They couldn't touch Dak Prescott, and he had a day, right? He had 4 touchdowns through the air, 1 on the ground. He had a fun day. So I don't expect the same out of Nick Bosa though, right? I expect those guys to get after him. We watched Jason Peters, who's like 60 years old. He got hurt. So an O-line that's been kind of coming into form. I expect them to get bullied a little bit. And yeah, I mean, I don't even look at it as the home field thing, right? The home field thing, it's kind of, I think anymore. I've listened to a couple podcasts this week that's with like the modern medicine, right, and all that and everything, and the training and the film, like that gap kind of gets cut a little bit. But I do think having the body ready, right? Are the Cowboys going to be ready on Sunday?
Yep.
2 less days to prepare than the 49ers, because they finished Monday night, probably didn't get into Dallas until 4 a.m, right? So you lose the next day is a complete wash, right? They probably did nothing on the Tuesday. So you're jumping into practice Wednesday, and you probably leave town for San Fran, what, Friday night, Saturday. So I
Yep.
mean, they legitimately, you're losing days of prep. You only can do so much in the film room. And I just don't know if the Cowboys guys will be ready 100% for the physicality that the Niners are going to come out of the tunnel with on Sunday in a rivalry game. They're going to want to beat the shit out of the Cowboys. And yeah, so I think they are at a disadvantage. I mean, it sucks to suck. I hate the Cowboys too. It is what it is. Like, but yeah, I expect the Niners. I think Brock Purdy keeps it rolling, and then it really, really, really it opens the question. Trey Lance is posting some cryptic stuff on I think it was Instagram or somewhere that I saw. Right, it really, really becomes, do you roll with Brock Purdy? You have to pay him pennies. You'd be paying him even less than you pay Trey Lance. You move off him, get a pick, right, and then you can still continue to build and build and build this roster to really just be a powerhouse. But I mean, we'll see. Brock Purdy, big stage for him. I expect the 49ers to get the job done. I think they'll cover too, to be honest. I think they win by 7. I think they win by a touchdown.
I was going to ask you how you felt about the spread, but
Yeah.
but to the Trey Lance point, like the Cowboys could come in and smoke the Niners, which won't happen. But like, and I would roll with Brock Purdy week 1. Like I've seen enough. Like I really like Brock. Trey Lance, a very different player. He never really got into his own groove. To be fair, he got hurt, but like I don't really want to plug in Trey Lance coming off an injury. And then you got Brock Purdy that the team really likes. The fan base rallies around him. The team rallies around him. It's just like, I think Brock Purdy's earned a chance to be the starting quarterback week 1 next year. I would roll with him. Plus, Trey Lance has good trade value. I don't know if they want to keep both, but some team would take a risk on him since he hasn't really had a chance to prove himself at all.
Yeah,
But I got to roll Brock Purdy.
Yeah, no, I think Tennessee would in a heartbeat, right? Tennessee kind of likes that power run game where the quarterback can move. I don't know if there's the last GM pick, Malik Willis. Who knows if he's sold on him? And yeah, I mean, the Shanahan offense doesn't need a rocket arm guy that can run around, right? He's won games with Jimmy Garoppolo, doesn't move at all, accurate quarterback. You look at Brock Purdy, accurate, makes the throws, right? He just needs a guy that listens, right? He'll give you the blueprint. Here's what you got to look for. Kyle Shanahan's that good of I'd say of an offensive coach that he'll give you everything. And with the roster around him, you don't have to be an amazing guy. That's why the rumors were a year ago, 2 years ago, that he wanted Mac Jones, right? A guy that can just sit in the pocket, be accurate, and make the throws in between the lines. And the front office wanted Trey Lance. I think the need for all these for them or his offense to have a quarterback that runs around and does all this flashy stuff is I think it's way overblown. Like people, obviously Trey Lance has more tools, but I don't think that offense requires a quarterback that has more tools and needs to launch the ball down the field. How much do the 49ers really throw the ball over the top and down the field? Not really that much, right? They kind of they work the boundaries, work the seams, run the ball, and play smart football in between that. You don't need a rocket arm to do that stuff.
Not to mention, you get Brock Purdy a full off season. I think he's going to come back even better. There was plays on the wild card where, like, instead of stepping through his throws and stepping up in the pocket to get away from pressure, he ran out to the outside, turned into some sacks. Sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't. But like, those are the little things you can clean up when you get a full off season and all that. So like, I would imagine he'd only be coming back even better.
Exactly, for sure. That's some offseason talk, right? That gives us some good stuff once this thing wraps up to kind of jump into the offseason, some exciting stuff to talk about going forward. Let's move it on. Dropping our picks. I think I didn't mess this up. No, we're pretty much, we're same across the board, Chiefs, Eagles, Niners, and then we're flipped on the Bengals and the Bills because you're rolling with the gut team from the preseason. That's fair. I could see that game going either way. That'll be a spectacular matchup. But I mean, anything really to add to this division round preview before we get out of here and we sit back and watch the action Saturday and Sunday? I can't wait.
I cannot wait either. I think we're in store for like a phenomenal weekend of football. I think it's going to be one of the NFL's better divisional rounds because I think every game is going to be pretty damn good and it's going to set up a phenomenal championship Sunday. And I cannot be more excited.
Facts. Yeah, we are set up for I would say some great stuff coming forward. But yeah, that's gonna be a wrap for this division round preview. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Drop any feedback in the description or add us, or even DM us on Twitter with any feedback. Say, hey, morons, do this better, and maybe we'll incorporate that into the next one headed into the division round recap. But yeah, as always, Spotify link will be dropped in the description. And yeah, we'll be back next week to unpack the division round and jump into a conference championship Sunday.